All right, let's look at quiz 2.1, problem number 1, just the first part. All right, so we have this function f of x equals square root of x plus 8, and we want to find an equation of the tangent line at 8, 4. All right, so we always need a couple pieces of information to come up with the equation of a line. So let's try to find those. First one we need is point. So I'm going to call it x1 comma y1. All right, but luckily this is given, so we don't have to do any work to find it. So you have 8, 4. All right, so that's given right here. All right, and then we have to find the slope. So I'm going to call the slope m. So in order to find a slope, easiest way would to find the derivative. So we find the derivative of the function and plug in the x coordinate of the point of tangency. So in this case, 8. Right? All right, so let's find the derivative. All right, so using the definition, f prime of x is equal to limit as h approaches 0. And then we have f of x plus h. So we have square root of, every time we see x, we put the x plus h. So we put the x plus h, then you have a plus 8, minus f of x, which is just the original function. So we just copy that, square root of x plus 8, and then all over h, right? All right, to evaluate the limit, first you just plug in h equals 0 and then see what happens. All right, so you see that if you plug in h equals 0, the denominator, whoops, I want a different color, denominator goes to 0. All right, the numerator, so since h is going to 0, you have square root of x plus 8 minus the same thing. So you can see that the numerator also approaches 0. All right, so we're going to use a trick. When you have 0 over 0, we have to do a little bit of work. All right, so we're going to multiply top and bottom, by almost the same thing as the numerator except for the sign. So you have a square root of x plus h plus 8 plus square root of x plus 8, right? And we're going to have to do exactly the same thing to the denominator so that we don't change the quantity of the quotient. So we just put that in there. All right. Then if you multiply, so you have a minus b times a plus b format. So we can just say a squared minus b squared. So here. All right, so if you multiply the numerators together, a squared, which is that guy's square, so square root is off, x plus h plus 8 minus b squared would be x plus 8, square root is off again, right? And the denominator, we can do much, so it's going to be h times the other denominator. So it's a square root of x plus h plus 8 plus square root of x plus 8, right? All right, seems like we're making our life even more miserable, but it actually works out really nicely. So you have, there's an x minus x, so you can cancel those out, and 8 minus 8, so you can cancel those out, right? Then, good thing is we have h, right? So we have only h left over on top. So you have a common factor between the numerator and denominator. So I can cancel those two since it's h over h is 1. So we have that. And then we can let h go to 0. So here, this is h right here, right? So this guy is basically disappears because it becomes 0. All right, so what's left is going to be, maybe I'll probably do it here. Let's see, what's left is 1 on top. All right, so we have a square root of x plus 8 plus another square root of x plus 8. So you have 2 of those. So it's a 2 times square root of x plus 8. All right, so this is the derivative. All right, so once you know that derivative, all you have to do is plug in x equals 8. So this is going to be 1 over 2 square root of, all right, so we plug in 8 plus 8. So this is going to be 1 over, let's see, 8 plus 8 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4 times 2, so it's going to be 8. All right, then once you have those two pieces of information, we can just simply use the point slope form. It goes something like this, right? Y minus y1 is equal to m times quantity x minus x1. All right, so this is going to be, all right, so y minus y1. y1 is 4, so we put 4 in there, is equal to m. M, we just found that to be 1/8 right there. So 1/8 times quantity x minus x1. x1 is 8. So we put 8 in there, right? Then we can simplify. Let's see. So we can just distribute 1/8 to x. We get 1/8 x, and we can distribute the 1/8 to -8, which is gonna give you -1, right? And if you want to isolate the y, you have to get rid of -4. We can do that by adding 4. So you have a y is equal to, so 1/8 x, and then add 4 to -1, so it's going to be plus 3. All right, so that is the answer that we were looking for. So this is the equation of the tangent line to the graph of this function f at 8, 4. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.